When it comes to shotguns, everybody heard of the Tigris Prime as being a fantastic primary weapon. But today I want to check out the new Loka version, the Sancti Tigris, and see if it stacks up versus the Prime. As always, my name is Leyzar, and today we're going to be diving deeper into this Mastery Rank 12 primary weapon. I have a couple of builds laid out for you guys, full status chance, critical chance with Hunter Munitions, and a full raw damage build, as well as a Riven setup. Though please keep in mind that my builds and guides follow a new player friendly approach, so I'm gonna be doing a lot of explaining. If you're a veteran and you already know most of this stuff, please bear with me, and you can also skip ahead if you want to. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the Sancti Tigris. Let's begin by taking a look at how the weapon behaves without any mods equipped, and for that I'm simply gonna be taking a couple of free shots. The Sancti Tigris is a shotgun with a duplex firing system. That means that at a click of a button you can unload both barrels really quickly, like that, for a massive punch, or you can keep your trigger finger pressed down and just unload when you're good and ready, just not to overkill a target and minimize reloading time. And that's pretty much it. It is very similar to the Tigris Prime, but let's jump into stats to see precisely what we're dealing with. Mod capacity is gonna be 60 out of 60, and if your Sancti Tigris has only 30 out of 30, jump into actions and install the Auto King Catalyst. This one can be found from alerts, invasions, or if you're lucky, from the daily sortie, and you can also pay 20 plat to have one installed. Next, my weapon has been formatted a total of 4 times, but for the weapon we're not recommending you guys to format should cover it. The accuracy is going to be 6.5, again this is a shotgun, so the accuracy doesn't really play a huge role. Also the fall off is between 8 and 20 meters, so you're going to have to be really close to your target in order to get the most out of the weapon. The critical chance is a bit low, well very low at 15%, and the multi is not fantastic either at 1.5x. Now the Prime version has 10% crit, but 2.0x crit multi, a fire rate of 2, magazine of 2, and a reload of 1.5 seconds, which is slightly faster than the Prime version. The Riven disposition is gonna be 1 out of 5, which means that the amount of stats on Rivens are gonna be fairly low. That's because the Tigris Prime, the bigger cousin let's call it, is very popular, being a very powerful weapon. The status chance unfortunately is only 28%, and this is the biggest problem with the weapon, as adding all 4 60/60 mods will not allow us to reach 100% true status chance, only 95%. Now, on pellet-based weapons such as the Sancti Tigris or on any pellet-based weapon in the game, it is important to get a true 100% status chance before multi-shot effects, otherwise your status chance will be getting divided among the pellets. So even though the weapon does have a 28% status chance, it fires by default 6 pellets, and the status chance will be getting divided among them. The wiki states that per pellet status chance is 5.33%, as it's not a direct divide, so bear that one in mind. If you guys want to see the full formula, it's over on the wiki. When it comes to the damage, we got impact, puncture, and slash is the highest by a mile. Unfortunately, we're gonna have a bit of a difficult time getting that true 100% status chance, and this is the first topic which I want to tackle. Let's see about that status chance. Scattering Inferno, Toxic Barrage, Frigid Blast, and Shell Shock, the 4 60/60 mods. If you're going for a true 100% status chance, then I would recommend you go for the elemental combo between Viral and Radiation, as Viral on a status proc will be reducing the maximum health of your targets to 50% for the duration of the Viral effect, and then Slash comes into play and nukes your target. As you see, 95.2, the way you get the true 100% status chance is one of 3 ways. 1. Shotgun Savvy, which is the cheap option. Everybody should have this one by now. It's 30% status chance, but this is a patch. Honestly, Shotgun Savvy as a mod sucks, so you shouldn't really use it. Another option would be from Nano Applicator. The problem with this one is that it's a bit uncomfortable to use. It's on ability cast, so you will have to synergize with a spammy Warframe, so bear that one in mind. Now the advantage, however, to using Nano Applicator is that you can make room for one more mod on your weapon. For example, what I can do is drop Shell Shock and Shotgun Savvy, and when the buff from Nano Applicator is up, I will be getting my true 100% status chance with only the free 60/60 mods, therefore freeing up a mod slot. And the final way would be through a Riven, but bear in mind, once again, this is a Dispo 1, so the amount of status chance you can get on a Riven isn't all that high. Initially, again, we're going to be going for a true 100% status chance build. What follows next is mandatory mods such as multi-shot with Hell's Chamber, and we're going to be going to damage as well with Point Blank. Not going to be using the Prime versions just yet because not everybody has them, and it's important to see what the weapon can do with normal everyday mods, at least if you ask me. There we go, we still have 2 more mod slots left on the weapon. We can go for even more damage. And when it comes to damage, Blaze is king on shotgun, 60% damage and 60% heat. Now if I go for an approach such as this, it will increase the heat on my weapon. The damage it brings is fantastic, all of it. However, increasing the heat on the weapon will mean that I'm getting more heat procs instead of slash procs. Slash will still be prio number 1 as impact, puncture and slash. The physical types have a 4 times greater chance at proccing over elemental types such as vital or heat. But for the time being, we're gonna stay away from Blaze so we can maximize our slash count, and we're gonna go with Vicious Spread, which is 90% damage and 60% spread. And our final mod, this is an option slot. Again, if you want to get some reload speed, some punch through, that will be absolutely fantastic. But I'm gonna be recommending Vigilante Armaments with 60% more multi-shot. And this is going to be the base build I'm going to be recommending to you guys. Once again, if you don't have Nano Applicator, I have a build a tad later that won't require this very expensive mod. Now let's see what it can do. We're going to be spawning in level 120 corrupted heavy gunners and some guys from Fortuna, just for reference. Now, in order to get my true 100% status chance, I need to cast an ability. Let me show you the difference of not having that 100% true status chance and then having it. So this is gonna be with not 100%. I did 2 shots on my target and it did, I don't know, what is that? 10%? Let's say it's 10%. Now, if I cast an ability, I get the buff from Nano Applicator. Now take a look at the difference. Now that is a fantastic difference, and that's why you want the true 100% status chance when it comes to pellet based weapons in Warframe. My status chance no longer gets divided, and each of those pellets is gonna apply a status. Which status depends on how you build your weapon, but in my case most of them are gonna be slash followed by vital procs. So there you go. The weapon can pack a serious punch. Now the build I am showing you right now is emulating the bigger sister, the Tigris Prime, which is mastery rank 13, as the Sancti is only 12. You can go for a build such as this. There are other options when it comes to the Sancti Tigris, and the main advantage this weapon brings over the Tigris Prime is the Syndicate effect. If you take a look in the lower right hand side of the screen, you will see the glyph from New Loka. When you get 2000 affinity, the weapon will release an AoE blast, 25 meter radius, 1000 corrosive damage, and you're also going to be getting 25% of your maximum HP back. And that's the main thing that the Sancti has over the Prime version. Because the rest of the stats, well, it's a bit of a give and take, so bear that one in mind. It may have higher critical chance, but it has lower critical multi, and overall it has lower damage as well. Now, when you're faced with a situation such as this, your critical chance doesn't really help you. The status chance to get to 100% is a bit tricky. You might be tempted to go for raw damage. At the end of the day, if I slap on enough damage on the thing, it's gotta kill my target, right? And this is gonna be a build focused solely on raw damage, and we got over 90,000 worth of raw damage. I didn't go for Chilling Grasp, however, because it would get combined into Incendiary Coat, and that would mean Blast on the weapon, which will be dealing less damage to heavily armored targets. Instead, one from the top, Vigilante Armaments, so I don't need to form on until my eyes bleed. Now let's see what the weapon can do. The main damage on the weapon right now is Corrosive. When it comes to Corrupted Heavy Gunners, that's going to be ideal. Now a build such as this, up to level 100, is going to work fantastically well. Past level 100, unfortunately, you're gonna have to shoot a target like this about 6-7 times. Without status chance or without crit, most weapons that just rely on raw damage aren't really gonna do all that well. And never mind about the corpus, they are just corpus. I wouldn't really recommend a setup such as this. Even with Prime mods, it's not performing as well as the 100% true status chance build we showcased earlier. There's still one more thing that kinda works on the Sancti Tigris, going for critical chance. Now, in order for me to go for crit chance, I'm gonna be dropping a few of the mods. I gotta get rid of Vigilante Armaments, and I'm also gonna be getting rid of the heat, and I'm just gonna be keeping Corrosive on the weapon for now. How much crit can you get out of the Sancti Tigris? Blunderbuss only offers you 90%, so it's 28.5. If I go a bit further and add Laser Sight, then I'm gonna be going to 46.5% crit chance when the buff from Laser Sight is up. But I'm gonna be needing some critical damage as well. Now, there's not a lot that I can drop at this point, so I'm just gonna be dropping Vicious Spread with 90% damage and the 60% spread. Again, the negative isn't all that important in that case, but there's not much that I can drop. Now I'm gonna be going for Prime Ravage actually, and we're just going to replace the electricity mod with the 90 mods instead of the prime one. There we go. Now, with a 46.5% critical chance and a 3.0x crit multiplier from Prime Ravage, one from the top, Hunter Munitions comes into play. You will be getting some slashes out of it. Not a lot, but the value of the slashes, considering the damage the weapon deals, is going to be over 2,000. I think it should be around 2,300. So we're just going to be dropping Blaze, and we're going to replace it with Hunter Munitions. Now let's see how the weapon handles like this. When it comes to the mods, outside of the prime mods, there's nothing really expensive there. If you don't have laser sight, it's an event only mod, but from the trade chat, you're looking at just a couple of plat. Now let's kill one of these here, low level corpuses. And now 2 shots in this target's head. The impact damage did a whole lot, and the slashes are taken away quite nicely. As you can see, it works a lot better than the raw damage approach that we tried earlier. If we get just a little bit lucky, like now, in 2 shots, or I don't know, both barrels, whatever you want to call it, we're gonna be able to take out a high level target. The Sancti Tigris can work like this. There is a way to further augment this build so it works even better. If you don't enjoy playing through status chance, then what you can do is add Arcane Avenger to the weapon. Wow, this guy basically has no more health. Arcane Avenger will get you 30% critical chance bonus additive after, so it will simply add on top of what you already have, and we're gonna be going to from 46.5 to 76.5, and that's gonna be a huge increase. Now, there's one more thing which I want to show you guys, bump up everything with Warframe buffs. But before we do that, a Riven setup. Now, I did buy a Riven, and I only did it for the sake of the review. Honestly, when it comes to Dispo 1 weapons, spending a lot of plat on Rivens is simply not worth it. This one was 170 plat. While I know there's a lot of you guys out there that have thousands and thousands of plat, I'm not one of those players. Status chance and critical chance. The status chance on this one will allow me to get the true 100% with just 2 of the 60/60 mods and Nano Applicator. Prime Point Black, Vigilante Armaments, Ravage, and of course Hell's Chamber. Now let's test the weapon out like this to see if it's any better. Did I just say Ravage? Wait a second, Ravage wasn't supposed to be there. I think we got a bit of a bug in the works. Yes, it was not supposed to be Ravage. It's supposed to be Vicious Spread with even more damage. Now we're good to test. When it comes to Dispo 1, it's not gonna make a huge difference, but it can free up mod slots, so bear that one in mind. First, I need my Nano Applicator buff, and then I'm gonna be placing 2 shots in this target's head. And once again, it bleeds out quite nicely. I'm sad to say that the best approach for the Sancti Tigris is pretty much the same approach as you would take for the Tigris Prime. The problem is the Tigris Prime has a much easier time getting these results because it has a base status chance of 30%, so it only needs the 4 60/60 mods. You don't need to play around with Nano Applicator or with Shotgun Savvy, so keep that one in mind. Now, when it comes to Warframe synergies, of course, if you're gonna slap Harrow onto this one, it's gonna destroy everything, but the weapon packs such a great punch, it doesn't really matter. You can use Chroma, you can use Mirage Prime, you can use Harrow if you really want even more damage than this. I'm gonna be using Mirage Prime because I want to use Mirage Prime. Now let's check out them buffs. Instead of Energy Siphon, what you can use is Shotgun Amp. 18% extra damage to shotguns. Unfortunately, it's not a huge benefit, even with Coaction Drift equipped. I wouldn't recommend you go for that one. Instead, focus on Arcanes, as these are a lot more impactful. On Headshot from Arcane Rage, 10% chance for plus 120% damage to primary weapons, not to rifles, for 16 seconds. And you can check that info out on the wiki. And of course, Arcane Avenger, as I stated earlier, this one synergizes perfectly well with the Sancti Tigris. Now let's give it a go and see if it's any better. It should one-shot these high-level targets. Unpause the AI so they can hit me and I can get my buff from Arcane Avenger. And of course, Mirage's free ability, which will grant me a fantastic damage increase, as well as her clones. Take a look. That's a one-shot. Of course, the Corpus are easy to one-shot, but what I'm after is the Corrupted Heavy Gunners, which get absolutely annihilated. The Sancti Tigris is a fantastic weapon, is hella powerful. The problem is there is another option to it called the Tigris Prime, and that one is just flat out more powerful. If you don't take into account, once again, the Syndicate proc, the new Loka Syndicate proc. When it comes to low levels, it's awesome to have that proc, but when it comes to higher level content, well, it kinda loses some of its value, so bear that one in mind. I fully recommend the weapon. Just keep in mind that one mastery rank higher, you get to look forward to the Prime version. And that's pretty much it for the review. As always, my name is Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. If you have any feedback for me, then by all means, leave it in the comment section down below. Now, I can't exactly promise you that any weapon suggestions would be done by next time or even within a week, because these things kinda tend to grab a lot of my time, but I will be reading through each and every comment. You can also find me on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, all the usual places. Until next time, my friends. Bye-bye.